You may be disheartened by the defective state of many of your sitters, but do not worry. This sinner is one of the few who can carry out most missions without much complaint. She is likely to make reasonable judgments, so it's a good idea to start conversations while looking her way if you are seeking sound advice. However, you mustn't forget, this sinner has survived an absurd voyage in a far and wide body of water. Her patience may run deep, but once you take a wrong turn with her, it will be a difficult task to regain her trust. Yes?
Sorry, I was really holding back that whole time. Why'd you open it like that?
You may be disheartened.
Be disheartened by the defective state of many of your sinners.
I'm right. That's how you would read that.
Uh-huh.
Source, I'm right.
Uh-huh.
Source, it is known.
Uh-huh. Is it?
It is known.
I guess it is. All right. Bitch, it's known.
Bitch, it is known. Jesus.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna do a pretty normal intro here, because if I do a special intro I already did a special intro for the bonus episode, so if you want a special intro, go listen to at least the intro of that, but then listen to the rest of it. But, like, if I do that, and then I also do a special intro here, well, then I have to do a special intro for Part 5B.
Yeah.
And so that's too much. I can't be held accountable for that much. I already edit the podcast. Anyway. Hello and welcome to Soulmates, where we talk about all our favorite guys and all our favorite... Nope. Wow. I'm going to restart that. I forgot the little. Little is important.
You did.
If something felt wrong. And I was like, whoa, what?
I knew.
Hello and welcome to Soulmates, where we talk about all our favorite little guys and all our favorite little games. I'm Ivy Fox. You can find me on our sister podcast, Together We'll Shine. An Utna rewatch podcast. I was distracted while saying that because I was trying to remember what joke I had planned, which is, let me pitch you this. Utna is kind of the Moby Dick of shoujo anime. I'm not going to bog down the intro explaining this, but I'll explain it a little bit later.
Okay, I'm not going to bog down the intro by asking about this then.
We'll talk about it in a second. One of the ways that you can find this show is on YouTube, where you can chat with us and your fellow fans in the comments, and it makes the podcast really easy to clip and share to your friends. But of course, you can always find us on your podcast app of choice, where you can leave us a little review just to help us out. Joining me, as always, from across the deck of our converted bus boat is Ash.
Hi, it's me, Ash. You can find me, like, doing the same thing that I was doing in the bonus episode, which you should go listen to. You can find me nose deep in the novel Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Just really getting into that shit. I have. And you can also find me for one episode and one episode only. That's not true. At Asher Lark on archiveofourown.org. I write a lot of Limbus Company fanfiction. I wrote the fic for this episode, which will be on Soulmates Pod on archiveofourown.org, as well as on my personal AO3.
A link to that in the description. Find all our links in the description.
I'm also in the middle of writing a novel-length fan fiction about Ishmael. So, I mean, it's more about Dante, but Ishmael is very important to it. So I just sort of had a lot of thoughts that I needed to get out for this one. You can support me on Ko-Fi at Asherlurk. You can support the show on Ko-Fi at Ivy Fox Art, all one word. I run the show's social media. It's Tumblr, soul-mates-podcast.tumblr.com.
And remember, if we ever say anything wrong, go yell at Ash about it.
Yep, I love that.
Engagement, bitch.
Engagement, bitch.
Our art is by... Wow, my throat is all fucked up today.
It really is.
Our art is by Rygarden, who you can find on Instagram, and our music is by Sueños Electrónicos, who you can find on Bandcamp. Again, all links in the description. This season, we are talking about the characters from Limbus Company by Project Moon. A blend of cute, appealing sinners with exciting RPG brawls.
Z.
Was I missing anything? I did the whole intro, right?
I think you did it. Yeah.
Okay. Now should I explain to you why Utena is the Moby Dick of shoujo anime?
Give me your elevator pitch.
So, in Utena, you follow a bright-eyed protagonist arriving at a new place. But that's not it. The reason why Utena is the Moby Dick of shoujo anime is that it is exactly the same structure. Throughout most of the show, a bunch of bullshit happens that isn't that important, except that it is really important and explains to you a bunch of stuff that may or may not be true. And then there's and then in the last 20%, there's a dramatic tone shift and all of the plot happens and then it ends.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
Utena's it's the Moby Dick of shoujo anime.
It's the Moby Dick of shoujo anime. So I like Ishmael a little bit. Just an important thing to know and to say. I like Ishmael a little bit. And she's transgender. And she's Ishmael from Moby Dick. I do have to say, at the opening of this Ishmael episode of the podcast, that I think that the Limbus Company adaptations of the novels that they're adapting, generally speaking, are very, very good. I think the Moby Dick adaptation is a little bit weaker. Not because it's like... Kanto 5 is my second favorite, or maybe still my favorite of the Kantos of Limbus Company. I really, really, really like it. I just don't think it's Moby Dick. Like, not that much. It's kind of Moby Dick. Ishmael is very much Ishmael. She very much has a neurotic compulsion to explain things and to... like, have all knowledge and say shit about whales. And, like, it's good. It's just, like, more plot than Moby Dick is, inherently. A lot more plot than Moby Dick is. But it does have some great references to shit in Moby Dick that is very much, I've read Moby Dick, and so I respect it. Like, falling inside of the head of a whale corpse and almost... dying, surrounded by horrible fleshy oil.
Yeah, I spent a chunk of my morning just like reading a bunch of rereading a bunch of Kanto 5, because I recently reread Moby Dick for the purpose of this episode and the bonus episode especially. And I was just curious, like, how they compared. And I think you're right in that, like, especially in the construct that, like, the most interesting and important part of Moby Dick is just kind of all of the bullshit explanations of things. You know, cetology, etc. Schools and schoolmasters. Oh, I love... Every day I wake up and think about schools and schoolmasters.
Daily schools and schoolmasters reading.
Listen, if I was in charge of writing the fic for this episode, which I think you're the right choice for this one. But I might just do Schools and Schoolmasters, but it's about whales and mermaids, you know?
Which would be fair. I have too much shit to say about Ishmael as a character to do that, but this would be fair.
I just love to do my stupid little book references.
Yeah. One of the best, in my journey to read all Limbus Company fanfiction, one of the best fanfics that I've read is a fic which just mimics the structure of a chapter of Moby Dick. I can't remember the name of right now. It's the one where all of the it's structured like a play, and everyone is referred to by their nationality.
I mean, that specific play chapter. I know the one. I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
It's mirrored after that chapter, and it refers to all of the sinners by their nationalities. It's very, very funny. The American, right? It's they considered just having the German, but didn't. So shout outs to Aphotic Depths for writing one of the best, Limbus Company / Moby Dick the book fanfictions there is.
Oh, I think I've seen Aphotic Depths around. I think I've read something.
Aphotic Depths
is
a familiar name.
It's a familiar name.
But that just might be because I'm in this fandom. Anyway, I wrote a fanfiction. It's about how Ishmael is transgender. It's about how Kanto 5 is about Ishmael being transgender, and I think it's one of the greatest pieces of media about being a transgender that has been made, which is fucked up and awesome, because it has it treats the topic of being transgender, which I think it is unequivocally about, with a depth and nuance that I'm really not used to, because there's a tendency to go either hard into the queer tragedy angle, where it's very hard to be queer, or to the celebrated, this is this is who I was meant to be, and I'm coming into myself, and it's good for me and shit. But what I think that Kanto 5 gets at, which I don't know if I've seen anything else get at in as effectively as it does, is sort of fucked up queer community. Ishmael grows out her hair and then looks like Ahab, and Ahab is Ahab, and the whole message and mission of the Pequod is let's all die in pursuit of a goal, and Ishmael's wife is they have a tender and touching scene in which Queequeg is hurting herself very badly, and then they talk about how they're gonna get out of here and have a house on the beach and shit. And this is all very extremely gets at my experience of growing up as a queer person in fucked up queer community, where there is a shared understanding that because of being queer, we are all eternally suffering, and that's okay because we're all so special about it. And this is Ishmael's transformation into a person who looks like and is Ahab, is treated with the same sort of nuance as it's treated this is bad because you're Ahab, which sucks. However, this sense of coming out of the cocoon, you're birthed into a new person, remains through it. And Ishmael doesn't end the canto by going, well, that sucks, and I renounce all of it. but instead has sort of compassion for Ahab at the end, chooses not to shoot the messenger, as it were. There's just like a lot there that I have deep, deep feelings about. I think Kanto 5 is really good. Those are my things. Those are my things I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my things I have to say.
Those are your things you have to say. I don't disagree. I find myself without much to say. Kanto 5 was very emotionally affecting for me, but in ways that are very difficult to pin down. I do I do, especially after reading the book, really I do really, really like Queequeg in Kanto 5.
Yeah!
Like, I really like Queequeg. I really like Queequeg and Ishmael. Project Moon ships Queequeg and Ishmael, like, harder than Herman Melville does, which is hard.
Because Herman Melville gets them married.
I know, yeah. Talks about them being married multiple times. Ishmael calls Queequeg my Queequeg. Multiple times.
The copy of the book that I got from my university library when I was reading Moby Dick had somebody's penciled in annotations in it, but like not good penciled in annotations, just like comments that were really funny. I think I've told you about fucking the annotation that's like the crew is insane, dude demonical. But and that was how it was phrased. But also, when Ishmael and Queequeg got married, they had spent, like, the first couple chapters making annotations all over Queequeg that was, like, question mark, racism? And then went, aw.
Yeah, and it's just, like, I don't know, I think about that scene of Queequeg and Ishmael in the cabin all the time.
Me too.
Because it's just, like, you know, as a person with, like, life experiences of various kinds, and also just, like, makes a lot of art about trauma and, you know, how people deal with it and react to it and so on and so forth. I think it's a really genuinely sweetly done piece of, like, commentary is the wrong word. It's a very well done, sweet piece on, like, self-harm. And Queequeg, again, I was rereading Kanto 5, but Queequeg has this sort of thing throughout when she actually appears in Kanto 5, like in the present day as well as the past, where she's sort of, like, constantly teetering on the verge of, like, she's sort of, like, alternating rapidly between this, like, you know, I want to get out and see the sunset, and, like, my life is over, there's no point. That, like, I think is very... But there's something to that scene, of... where, like, Ishmael is just kind of, like... She's alarmed at first, but she's also just kind of, like, watching and learning sort of quietly and supportively, like, what's going on with, you know, her wife, and is sort of just, like, you know, it sort of, like, doesn't sort of have this, like, kind of uncomfortable air of, like, no, you need to not do this, like, you need to be better. Like, obviously that's what she wants, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? And that was really affecting for me, was just, like, to have someone, you know, to have Ishmael sit there and be like, you know, not like it's okay that you self-harm, but it's okay, like, it doesn't make you a bad person. It's just, like, it's a part of you that I'm learning about, and getting over this is part of our sort of larger journey of getting out, It's very sweet. And And I lost my train of thought.
I fucking love that scene, and I fucking love Queequeg. I remember you weren't entirely sold on Queequeg when we started playing Kanto 5, which is fair on account of Moby Dick is a deeply racist book. One of my favorite books ever written. Deeply racist, unapologetic about it. All the time.
I mean, it's interesting. It's like a little bit apologetic about it. It's
kind of,
but this is not.
It's like, you know,
the Moby Dick's relationship to racism is not good, but is sort of complicated in an interesting way. But we don't have to get into that.
And so much concern, you know, like in my life before Kanto 5 came out about how they were going to do Queequeg. Because, like, you can't not do Queequeg the way that Queequeg is in the book, which is to say sort of inarticulate. It would be weird if it weren't that, on account of Moby Dick is pretty iconic, and Queequeg is pretty iconic. And, like, the way they do Queequeg is pretty good. All things considered, like, for having to sort of, like, figure out this character from about, like, 75% racist caricature and 25% Ishmael supporting character, having to try and figure out what to do with this is hard. But I think that they found a pretty decent way around making Queequeg, you know, sound like Queequeg, and not doing a racist caricature. There's some questionable things about how they did Queequeg. She's like, race isn't real in Project Moon, but she's like a Polynesian woman cutting off her tattoos and shit. It's weird. But, like, I think they did a good job with what they had.
Yeah.
And, like, as a character, she makes me cry, so it's okay.
I remembered my train of thought. My train of thought was, this, Ishmael in that scene, again, just kind of like gets at, what I like about book Ishmael that it can be hard to find in Limbus Company Ishmael, but is there if you're looking for it, especially post Kanto 5. The thing I like when she's like more Ishmael and less Ahab, generally speaking. But like one of the things I like about Ishmael in the book is how his like weird fixation on like knowing and consuming everything, you know, he needs to know, he needs to have stories.
I need to process the traumatic experience I had.
Yeah. And
also I was like that before, but like, you know.
yeah. Ends up with like a very kind of empathetic protagonist / narrator. Like he's not always no, he's always sympathetic to some extent. He's not always nice. He's kind of an asshole. But like he's very empathetic. He's very like, you know, he's very like interested in why people are thinking things and then being like, I guess that's fair when you look at it from their perspective. And I think this really comes across in... it was funny, I was, like, curious about that. I was looking for that. I was reading Kanto 5 this morning, and I didn't find a ton of it, but I was like, that does come across in Ishmael after Kanto 5. She becomes a lot more quippier in a very Ishmael way. And also, she has a lot of, I'm thinking of something in, like, the the claim my bones, claim their bones, whatever, something about flesh and bones.
Yield my flesh to claim their bones.
But she just has a lot of quips that are like, I guess he's like that. In a, way that's kind of both asshole-ish, but also, thinking about people's perspectives in a way that not a lot of other people on the bus are. And also, it took reading the entirety of Moby Dick, mostly while on delayed airplanes, to understand that her bit about making pamphlets about everything is a cetology joke.
Yes, it is.
Which,
God, it's good.
I almost wish it was a little bit more prominent, generally speaking, but it is,
the various running bits. The various running bits in Limbus Company, I rarely want to be more prominent, but I think Ishmael's bit about the pamphlets is really fucking funny.
So good.
I also, I think that this sense of empathy ties into Moby Dick's whole metafiction bullshit, where everything in Moby Dick is kind of, dubiously true. All of these bits that Ishmael is apparently supposedly writing that are, about things that Ishmael should have no knowledge of, like Ahab and Starbuck in the cabins, and, all of these sorts of Ahab monologuing into the distance are, implied to be kind of fictitious. Ishmael is creating explanations for the things that happened and writing them out as plays in this sort of strange way. But also maybe not, on account of this is the only account and it's Herman Melville's Moby Dick. The truth of the matter is immaterial, because it's not real. And I think this is fun. And I think that the way that Limbus Company Ishmael, does this with people, and is probably there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this, internally writing plays about it, is very fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it can be a little bit more subtle than some of the other Sinner character interpretations. It's a little bit less subtle than Ryoshu.
Many things are less subtle than Ryoshu.
Who, sits there making sketches of dead people. But it's good. I like Ishmael a lot. I think she's very charming. She's not one of my, golden 4 favorite sinners in my little favorite sinner Punnett square, but I'm very fond of her. Also, I don't write nearly
as much as I wish I did about Ishmael, despite how many feelings I have about her. She's a little bit too much of a straight man for me to write too much with her, but I do love her. I think writing within the setting of Kanto 5 is extremely fun.
Yeah. She's a great straight man, too, also, because she's not that serious.
Yeah, she's fucking the most recent event in which, this is recorded, the most recent event is Regular Checkup, but in which everyone is turns to Ishmael expecting her to be a straight man, and she's like, the checkup. Fucking brilliant, really funny.
Also, I think she's very hot.
She is. It's true. Should we talk about this image?
Yeah. This is Ishmael's main poster image. It's just on our page. Ishmael.
There's not a lot to it, but it rules and it kicks ass.
It's got a whale.
It's got barnacles. It's got water and lightning. It's got a broken ship in the background. There's not much to say about this one really, except that it rules. It's very symptomatic of the way that they render backgrounds in the early stages of the art in this video game. With all of this water that's sort of just a bunch of horizontal paint strokes in various directions. I think it's fun.
There's always a fun quality to the composition of this one that Um, something about I'm like trying to figure it. It's the way that yeah. Despite the fact that that Ishmael is orange, bright
Isolate
orange Ishmael, and like the whole background is just tones of sort of tealy gray. This whale tail, this whale tail really, really catches your attention.
Yeah, extremely.
It's very hard not to look at it. All of the action lines, even more subtly, are pointing up to it. Like, the water is swooshing up to it. Other various points of Ishmael sort of point you up to the whale. And it's like, it's looming over her like a halo. It's really good. It's, again, I like... we looked at this before, but not all of the backgrounds are painted quite... Yeah, some of the backgrounds have much finer detail. But, like, a lot of the ones we've looked at have been in this very, very broad... Yeah, you're right. Just very broad, just strokes of digital paint kind of
Yeah, this
thing.
one's pretty similar to, like, what Gregor has, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A little bit more defined than what Gregor has, but...
Which I think works for Ishmael. Again, Moby Dick's a very dreamlike book. Ishmael's experiences are presented in a very dreamlike way. And so it's just like, it's the most distinct thing that is happening in this, the most distinct sort of clearly drawn thing in this is like the water. There's water, and then there's like a shape, and it's identifiable as a whale tail, but like not too much. Like, it's not clear. She's on a ship, but the dimensions of this ship are fucked. They're just like, it's just like being sucked towards the whale. It tapers off in a way. It's not clear, like, you know, this ship is like a metaphorical space more than an actual space. It's good. I like it. Again, it has this really nice kind of like circular... I love all these like bits of debris that, like, again, Ishmael feels very haloed here. She's like in the middle of this like circle formed by the waves and the tail, and also all these bits of debris sort of like point in at her, like, I don't know, some sort of like fucking Arcanite's halo, you know what I mean? It's really good.
I always confuse this image in my head with Snag Harpoon, her base ego. Just because the water is rendered the same and the colors are the same. And I appreciate that the colors are the same and the water is rendered the same. It's like, Ishmael is a brand, and it's being bright orange on pale teal.
Yeah.
And it's like, yep, you did it. Good job. Should we get to our first identity?
Are we not gonna talk about her base character design?
Oh, I mean, we can. I didn't have much to say about it. She has a lot of hair.
She does have a lot of hair. It's very
They
fun.
always like to...
I love her hair.
There's an internal joke about how much she's an octopus, because there's some, like, just random sketch art that was posted on the Twitter before the game released that's like Call of Ishmael, and she's a big octopus. She's Fishmael. I do want to know why her coat is torn up. Like, she's a very clean and pressed individual.
Yeah, there's not that much to say about her. How she
only has
uniform.
half a coat.
She does. She has like a false short coat.
Yeah,
it just
she's
like
only Ishma.
Ishma. Ishma balls.
I don't think I will.
Yeah, fair enough. But like, I don't know. I like her. I like her hair. I like her little ribbon spot of white is really nice. We were talking recently with some people about her weapon and how her weapon is arbitrary. Compared to everyone else's for the most part. I like the mace. I'm fond of the mace and the shield. I like there's aspects to the shield, like it looks like a barrel lid in a particular way, that feels very fitting. I don't disagree that she may just have a mace just because to fill out sort of like the weapon triangles on the bus. By which I mean that 6 of them need to be doing blunt damage, and there needs to be only one person doing pierce damage.
Most of her Conso 5, she uses a harpoon in all relevant, like, story moments. It's just really fucked up that they don't have her just use a harpoon. Like, I know that the harpoon is her ego, and I know that the harpoon is now reserved for Captain of the Pequod, Ishmael, but, like, in every CG and every, like, moment in which Ishmael attacks someone in Conso 5, this happens often, it's like, and then she stabs them with her harpoon. And then she stabs them with her harpoon. And it's like, bitch, where? What harpoon?
You know, the harpoon she's been wetting in the back.
The harpoon she's been wetting and using this entire time. The harpoon that she always keeps on her, and it's visible in her normal sprite where she's carrying a weapon.
Well, it's in the hair, you see. She keeps it in her hair. You gotta make sure not to grab it too fast or she'll give her a haircut.
Which would be terrible.
I mean, the mace does look like a harpoon, which I've always thought was funny. It's very pointy. It has these sort of like, these like pointed flanges down the shaft that it shares with the Pequod harpoons. But I don't know. I don't mind the shield and mace. I said this before, but I feel like it makes her look very much kind of just like a workaday guy.
Yeah.
This is just kind of a normal weapon in a way that I feel like is appropriate for Ishmael. She's just like a guy who works.
There is a compelling world in which Ishmael decides not to use a harpoon most of the time because she doesn't want to be asked about the whaling thing. She's like, I went to go work for the Aid Association for a couple years after having a traumatic experience with whales, and there I used a normal weapon.
Anyway, Ishmael. She's cute. She's cute.
Yay,
she's got a cute face.
she's cute.
Good for her.
She
what's
does
our
have a
list?
cute face. She's got her little freckles.
Freckles.
First off, we're gonna go with the 00 She Association South Section 5 Ishmael.
A classic. The one you get for free in the
one
tutorial.
That you get in the tutorial at the beginning. It's She Association South Section 5 Ishmael. You know her, you love her, she's hot.
Sorry, I was sitting cross-legged on my chair and my whole left leg fell asleep.
Welcome back.
Get that shit replaced by a peg leg.
Yeah. This ivory leg is what compels me. In this one, she's hot. She's got her shoulders out, which is famously hot. It's fucked up, the detail in this image where she's, like, in front of a painting of a whale.
I never noticed that until I was looking for what detail you must be talking about. Wow.
It's fucked up.
Maybe that's why she's so mad. She's like, fuckers, I told them not to put me in the whale changing room.
I told them not to put me in the whale room.
And they put me in the fucking whale room again. Oh my god. If I didn't get benefits, I'd be fucking out of here.
This room looks, I mean, it's not the same as, like, the Blade Lineage Identity rooms, but there's so many images from these, like, first couple identities where it's like, I'm sitting in a room with a window. And it's like, yeah. Okay, do you live here? Like, she's got a dresser, she's got a TV. She's got her belt, I guess, hanging on the windowsill. Along with her bloody bandages. Are you at work, or do you live here? I'm not sure.
This is an important ID to have in the tutorial as your first pull, because it gets at something that Limbus Company is not always good at, but better than many games for sure, which is like having nicely muscled women. She's not super built or anything, although she's an assassin, so it makes sense that she'd keep a pretty lithe figure. But like they do she does, for how kind of messy this early art style can be, they do make sure that you do notice that she has biceps and triceps.
Yeah.
I do like the I think that these windows look weird. They're a little bit too, like, sort of digital gradient-y for my tastes. But I do think the rim lighting on this image is generally really nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It, like... Hey, remember the She Association from Library of Ruina?
I remember. This is a, hey, remember Library of Ruina image?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, remember Moby Dick? Look at this whale. Bitch.
Bitch.
Look at this fin-back whale going vertically out of the water.
I was about to say, I was looking in my mind for the... Look at this fin-back whale escaping the cycle of samsara. As discussed in Soulmates Bonus 7, The Cetology of Ishmael.
Yeah. It's a good image.
It's a good image, yeah.
I appreciate the little bit of storytelling in this image I hadn't really thought about before, which is that she's got her bloody, like, torn, used bandages, and then her fresh bandages that she's just now applying. Fun. Cute.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought this was more of a bodysuit than it was. And so I looked at her, like, second image, but, like, no, she's wearing, like, loose pants.
Yeah, no, she's got pants.
It's just the top it's just her undershirt with her hot shoulders.
Yeah. I like her stance, too. It gives a sense of, she's, like, bracing against this, like, I don't know, like, table, ammunition box, whatever, with her foot. It has, like, it gets good kinetics across. For a relatively simple image with relatively simple posing. I like it. Now, Ash, you ready for my pre-prepared joke of this episode?
Yes.
You mentioned that she's hot.
Yeah.
Now, if you saw this Ishmael on the street, and, you know, just like, would you feel especially compelled to, nervously, one presumes, both because she's hot and because she's strong and could probably kill you,
covered in bandages and scars.
Yeah, but, like, would you feel compelled to go up to her and be like, hey girl, I think you've really got it going on, so here's my number, and maybe call me Ishmael?
I see.
That dead silence was everything for me. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. This is
I would be compelled
Ishmael.
I would be compelled to ask her to call me Ishmael.
I agree. Call me Ishmael.
Call me Ishmael. Her image, her uptight 3 image,
Less call me. Not because...
Less call me.
I just don't think she's in the mood to be asked
no,
such things
she's
in this
so
image.
sad.
She's so sad.
I do want to know more about this fucking gauntlet these gauntlets that she has. You can see them in her battle sprites better. You can see generally her She gear and her battle sprites better. I never really think about the She Association gear that they're wearing, which is like, hey, remember Library of Ruina? But, like, I never think about the gauntlet that she has. I just think about her bright red sword. You know, like from... It's not actually bright red, or maybe it is, but...
Oh, no, it's red.
It's
a red
red.
Sword.
I just think about their bright red sword, like from Extreme Speed Slash and Library of Ruina. And that's what I remember mostly. She's less, like, she's got collarbones as hell in this one, which, like, awooga.
Call me.
Call me.
She has, she has really good muscle definition in general. Look at the definition on that bicep. Like, goddamn.
I know! I've been doing anatomy lectures for my life drawing class for month and some change now. And I'm just thinking about all of the anatomy of the upper arm. Like, yeah. I like how much her hair is in this image. It's like crazy. It covers most of the background.
Yeah. I like how it follows. It like it creates a line of motion that is like perpendicular to the line of motion of the sword, which is really fun. Sword is going like up, and the hair is going out in a really nice way. They like lead into each other, but like it's not on the same line as the sword swipe, which is nice. This is another thing they love to do in early art, which is like have one image in which the guy is in white light, and then in the next image they're in red light, and it's scary because it's red white.
She's scary.
She's scary.
Thing that I have to say and interrupt you for is that Ishmael's hair is, I have to assume, meticulously taken care of on account of how long it is and how Ishmael's particulars are, quote, suffers from an obsessive-compulsive neurosis. So I have to assume that she meticulously takes care of her hair. And so I love how, like, obviously fucked up it is in this image. It's like, it's stringy, it's going everywhere, it's not, like, freshly washed and fluffy and shit, it's just, like...
Yeah.
It just goes in these sorts of oily hanks.
Yeah, I mean, it gets really clearly across that, like, hey, remember this? Remember Library of Ruina, which is like, you know, she's been at this night of work for 7 nights, you know. I will say, we brushed past it, but I do like the She Association armor. It's a little bit goofy, but it does like it gets across the shaping of that sort of like, the gauntlets and the chest piece do get across the shaping of like. I mean, I couldn't place the era because I'm just not educated enough. But there's like a very particular kind of like light Japanese like bamboo armor, gauntlets and chest piece that look like this, and it comes across really well. She's so sad.
She is. I really can't look at her face for too long.
Rimmed by the blood moon.
I do appreciate that the utility belt that she has on the windowsill in her first image is now on.
Yeah.
Always my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Why does this image have diagonalitis?
I was gonna say, this image has like it's volunteered into the fucking Walpurgisnacht borders.
I know. It doesn't have diagonalitis because she's upright. It's just upright. Like diagonally cut.
Just decided to be a it's kind of fun. It's like
it is.
It follows the line of the slash, so she's like slashing open the camera in a kind of fun and dynamic way. I will say that this frame of blood is like a bit much.
Yeah.
It's like
hello, died 2025, born 2025. Hello, blood fiend Ishmael.
But it gets across this feeling that the whole thing should be it's in a frame. It's in a red frame that is this weird blood red. It like makes it look more like a picture than anything else, which is a thing they do sometimes early. But it's just like it's funny to see. It's just trying so hard to be like an image. I don't know.
It's trying so hard to be an image.
It's trying so hard
in conclusion, I love her. Next on our docket is R Corp 4th Pack Reindeer Ishmael, also an on-release Season 0 identity, featuring, first of all, Gregor is in this image and has his cockroach in the foreground, which is fucking hilarious. They are never going to release Rhino Gregor. Rhino Gregor is real. Rhino Gregor was in beta art. That art is so old at this point. It would look bad if they released it now. It didn't look good before, but it would look bad if they released it now, because it doesn't look like anything else does. They're never going to release him. They're going to leave him in hell forever. As opposed to Rabbit Ryoshu, who was never in beta art, but is cute.
Uh-huh. We can briefly turn this podcast into being about Ryoshu. This Ryoshu is very cute. I like her eyes. They have sort of like a soft curiosity of them. She's like, ooh, this girl has a migraine. Fascinating.
I can paint that. A painting of hell, a girl having a migraine.
Oh, so true. Oh, I don't get them very often nowadays, but I get the worst fucking migraines. Hey, we'll get there. We'll get there. But Rabbit, it is important to note that Rabbit Ryoshu is here as kind of a joke. Because her voice actor also voices beloved Mio. And so that's why there's a Rabbit Ryoshu here.
We've called it, by the way, by which I mean Ivy has called it. Ivy has called it. Mia will be in the upcoming Nocturnal Sweeping event. If you're listening to this 6 months later, you can laugh.
We might have a trailer for it well, I don't think so, but we'll have a trailer for it soon. Mio will be in Nocturnal Sweeping. I've psychically predicted it with my perfect mind.
Sure, babe. Whatever makes you happy. I don't believe you. Like, not even a little bit.
You don't understand. She will. I've predicted it with my psychic mind. Anyway, that's why Rabbit Ryoshu... That's why
I don't, but I believe in your convictions.
It's because she's Mio. She's supposed to be Mio in this image.
Yeah.
I don't think that, like, these R-Corp guys specifically don't line up with the R-Corp leaders. So, like, I don't think Ishmael is Rudolph, but Ryoshu is Mio, because that's the joke. Anyway, Ishmael. Now we can talk about Ishmael.
Girl with antlers. It's Women with Antlers Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
I'm a deer. Hey, little known fact on this podcast. I'm a deer. I love it when there are antlers. If they came up to me and were like, hello, we'll employ you in a very dangerous job where you're going to die, and you will also have chronic migraines forever whenever you use your psychic powers, but you will get antlers, I'd be like, sign me up. I would simply be stronger and cooler. I love Reindeer Ishmael because she has antlers and chronic migraines. She's so funny to me. It's you use her and the whole time, like, even more than all of the sopping wet identities that are like covered in blood and like my whole family is dead. Ishmael's just like, oh my god, get me out of here.
My fucking head. Oh,
my head hurts. Get. Ugh. And the little psychic noise for Mind Blast. She's very cute in this image.
She does look very cute in this jumpsuit.
I do love that. I think about this all the time. Why is the identity story for R-Corp 4th Pack Reindeer Ishmael mention the library from Library of Ruina?
I can't answer this question.
I don't know why.
Wait, hang on. I'm rereading it. When does it do this?
People on Tumblr can't answer this question, but like, it's the identity story. The notes started with a simple inquiry. R-Corp's architecture is strange. It's closer to W-Corp's designs than anything else. I searched the city and the library for answers, but no one seems to know why. Also, it ends with, for now, watching this child who swallows painkillers should be telling enough. I just think about this constantly.
Oh, right. I don't actually own her. I've used her.
You've only taken mine.
Only borrowing yours. So I've never actually seen this story before. That's funny. Dry swallowing pants killer. Damn, girl.
She's so sad.
She's so cute in this jumpsuit.
She's so cute. Oh my god, I love the R-Corp jumpsuits. I think that they're very cute. All these, like, the racing lines, the little symbol that shows which, like, division you're a part of. I love the harnesses. I love that the rabbits have the little ammo harness, but she just has, like... I assume that these little things in her utility belt are painkillers.
Yeah, they're like painkillers or, like, stimulants, right?
Mm-hmm. My stim packs.
Yeah, I think her posing is really, really strong here.
Yeah.
Her left hand looks a little goofy, but, like...
It does, don't think about it.
Something about these, like, clutching two fingers, this, like, weird pose is very, like... like, gets across
her hand
this,
in
like,
her hair
perpetual...
is adorable and
It
so
is.
cute.
Yeah, I like how much of her hair there is in this image. It takes
Yes.
up, like, fully a quarter of the whole fucking image.
It's like...
It's like a box. It becomes a box of hair.
It's so fucked. I love you, girl. Never change. Her expression in this image is fantastic. She's like, I don't know what's happening.
It's like, fuck this.
She's on a smoke break, but she doesn't have cigarettes. She just has ibuprofen.
Maybe that's what she's complaining about. Maybe she's like, fucking motherfuckers are out here smoking around me, make my headache worse.
She's just, there's not any more to say about this one. She's just so cute.
Oh,
she's literally so cutie. I do appreciate that they highlight Gregor's prosthetic hand, though, just to make it clear that he doesn't have a right arm.
Just to be clear, this is Gregor.
Just so you know, we didn't fuck it up. He doesn't have a right arm.
I think her jumpsuit is painted very nicely. It looks nice.
It is.
Anyway, moving on.
Her Upside 3, also really good. I think I do keep it on this one and not the Upside one, just because I like it a lot. The lighting is really great, and I like her lit up antlers. Here is... Project Moon's wife, the smudge tool, in full use on the effects on this, like, mace.
They did just draw this mace, and then to create this, like, swirly thing, they just dragged the smudge tool around in some circles. Great, good for them.
Good for them, honestly.
It's, like, not that... It works pretty well.
It does.
They're much... You know, I would say it's good. Good use of the smudge tool. Good job, Project Moon.
Good job, Project Moon.
You don't, like, lose... You can still see as much as you need to see of the mace.
Very important to this podcast.
Yeah.
Being able to see the weapon.
I feel like Ishmael, in general, is pretty good about you being able to see the weapon, but I might get mad about this later, so get ready. Oh, no, I definitely will get mad about this later, but not until part B. But this mace looks really nice. I will say that, like, this metal looks so nice. For how, like, simple and blocky... I've said this before, but for how simple and blocky this painting style is, like, the way they get across sort of, like, the lighting of the metal, how it, like, lights up in, like, strips along the line by which it's been tempered, is, like, really strong. It looks really nice. This armor looks very, very... It's done very simply, but it looks very, very physical and tactile in a really nice way.
And it really gets across sort of, like, the thing which the, like, reindeer unit is to me. They're, like, big, heavy hitter. They're not the rhinos, so they're not, like, tanks, but, like, you know, they have their fucking big-ass psychic maces, and then they have their very protective armor suits, and they're very, like, they're big metal tanks of shit. And it all comes together very nicely, even though I do like the first image just for having Ishmael in just the jumpsuit, which is extremely cute. I forgot that she changes into the armor for the main image. I'm like, no, go back to your jumpsuit. It was cute, but it's okay.
I like this armor. I'm
like
fun.
both.
I'm glad we get both.
Yeah.
I really like
the progression.
I really like the progression of her expression here. Also,
yes.
It's similar. Her head is tilted in a similar way. Her mouth is a similar shape, but her mouth is like bigger and more gridded, and her hand is like now over her eye instead of over her forehead, and like, oh, this is so, like, listen, people who get a migraine, like when you've got the fucking the aura in the one eye and the one side of your head is hurting like hell, it's like, oh my god, kill me.
And like her extremely bright light from this mace, like really in the forefront of the image, and she's like, ugh. Also, I just noticed her eye is bloodshot.
Oh yeah, a little bit.
Fucked. That's a really small detail. And also, sorry, girl.
Uh-huh. I love how these antlers light up too. How
yes!
they light up like crystals. Like you can see the crystalline structure inside of them when they light up.
She's so me.
And and there's this really fun aspect to like the fact that they're lit very brightly at the tips and then get dull near the bottom kind of makes it feel like the energy is maybe not, but like makes it feel like energy is like flowing out of her in a very particular way, you know? And like there's this clear even if you don't know shit about the R-Corp reindeers, there's this like clear connection between like whatever the fuck is happening up here and whatever the fuck is happening with the mace, that I think is really, really nice. I like their choice to not use the smudge filter up here, where it's a little the smaller details are more important, and instead they just have these like little boopy little lines of electricity.
They need to make more reindeer identities. I'll riot.
Uh-huh. Well,
there's only one rabbit and one reindeer and one rhino, and they'll never release Rhino Gregor. So
in Nocturnal Sweeping alongside
maybe they'll be in Nocturnal Sweeping, and we'll get more R-Corp identities. Please, God, for the love of God.
Good. This Ishmael also has the thing that you mentioned where her hair is flat now.
Yeah. I really like the way that they, like, because the lighting is so bright in the front of the image, they darken her hair a lot in the back of the image. And it really is very, very, very good.
Yeah. I really, really like, just like the composition of this image is very simple but very effective, of just like her eyeline meeting the mace and like this like swoop down her arm to the mace and then back up her elbow to her head and then back. It's really nice. Great image, honestly.
This child who dry swallows painkillers.
I beat Ricardo using solo, not that we talk about mechanics on this podcast, but I beat Ricardo using solo this Ishmael, and it took me many, many hours of listening to her go, so she'll forever be in my heart. Call me Ishmael. Call me Ishmael. We'll lie in a dark room together.
So true.
If you know what I mean.
Hey, I mean, as long as you buy her a bottle of ibuprofen first.
Ooh.
This is one of those images where I'm like, I don't know if I want to, like, be her or call her, but...
Well,
like,
she calls you.
Yeah.
You but don't call her.
She can,
whoa.
Sorry. But she can call me.
Yeah. Lying in a dark room with Ishmael and taking my leftover surgery painkillers together. Ooh.
Ooh. Next up on our list is LCCB Assistant Manager Ishmael. In this image, she's Sauda. It's the image. It's the same image as the one where they're in the van and they say hi to you in Kanso 3, except she's not saying hi to you yet. She's just, like, thinking about her gun. I like this image, not because it's, like, particularly well drawn. I think it's sort of... It's a little bit earlier in development, maybe, than the others. But just because of, like, her sort of vertical... pupils in this image where she's just looking at her gun.
She's
so like She's so Kanto 5 Ishmael having a mental breakdown in this image. I don't know why.
Yeah. Gun. Sigh.
Gun. My mostly shadowed eyes staring at gun.
Is gun a type of fish?
Much to think about, but not the right episode to think about it. But I think that this one's earlier in development just because of how fucking stringy her hair is. Like,
yeah,
oh my god.
Absolutely. It, like... we were looking at some like, test beta art, stuff. We were looking at the unused art section of the wiki earlier. And we found, like, an old Ryoshu where, like, the art still had sort of, like, the composition blocking lines. And a lot of this earlier art kind of has the feeling of, like, being blocked out and then being sort of very simply geometrically painted over.
I mean, yeah.
The composition blocking. And
they're all rimlit.
Kind of
like, let me show you where the guy is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could take this Ishmael like a sticker and, like, put her in and out of the image.
I also think this composition is really funny because the whole point of this composition is to make you look at Limbus. You look at Ishmael because she's Ishmael. And then you follow her eyes.
And she's looking at her gun.
And then she's
looking at the shield that says Limbus.
And then the composition terminates there. And then you're like, I see, it's Limbus.
This image is funny because they gave Valmori the same instructions as the CG, or not the CG, as the identity art artist in order to make the same image. But in one of them, Ishmael is there and she's sad. And in the other one, Team Rocket is there and they're happy. Why? I don't know. This image is pretty simple. She's got the, like... I do think that the way that the, like, big, baggy, heavy cloth Limbus Company work shirt falls underneath this bulletproof vest is kind of fucked, because the bulletproof vest is very bendy.
Yeah, it does have a sort of thin and flimsy... I mean, I guess that's the shoulders... But, like, the shoulders give it... I was gonna say this on Armored R-Corp, but, like, that has a very good... Part of the reason why that armor looks so real is because there's points at which she's bending up and you can see the thickness of it. This, you cannot see the thickness of this vest. This vest is, like, plastered onto her like a texture on a 3D modeled character. You know?
It's part of what makes her look so sad. Because she's in this baggy clothing that's, like, ill-fitting.
Yeah, she does have sort of, like, boy band energy, you know?
Yeah.
In this.
Sad teenager Ishmael.
Sad teenager Ishmael.
I mean, she would have shorter hair, but...
Damn. Yeah, there's not that much.
There's not that much in this image.
Right.
In the second image, though... This one is
that nobody likes and I like more than most people in my experience.
I like this one fine. I don't know why you say nobody likes it. I think it's kind of high concept for these early images, which is to say that she shoots the lens of the camera this is being shot from. The little spiderweb cracks in the screen are very, very fun to me. I think it conveys everything that it needs to convey. It's got, like, you know, I mean, it's got the bright, like, shoot of the gun next to her face. It's got the big old riot shield, which has like some punctures in it, and the glass is slightly cracked. And then you've got the ammo that's, like, you know, the shells behind her. And then various other people in this melee. Her hair doesn't even cover up that much of the image. It goes off to the top right.
Have you ever noticed that the shadow people in the foreground, Mokashira, are over top of the cracked glass?
Oh. No, I mean, not entirely. I think
they have, like, faded edges, but they do occlude the cracked glass at points.
I don't think that's entirely true. Um, I mean,
I
just
guess,
because like the light of the cracked glass is just like slightly lighter than the thing
I
that
guess
it's above,
I
and so it makes
suppose
sense that
so.
it would like
It's
exit.
kind of an odd visual illusion though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I quite like this image. I think it's kind of a weird image for Limbus Company. I think this image would fit right at home in Library of Ruina, which is maybe why it's here
As
at
an
the beginning
attack
of the
card,
game. As what?
as an attack page.
No, just as like a cutscene CG. But because like it has this very particular kind of like theatery, like very visible layers. What am I like
Mm-hmm. Diorama.
diorama layers to it. It's like you got the cracked glass on the first layer, and then the shadow people are in the next layer, and then her shield, and then her, and then these background people, and then
Mm-hmm.
the stage, and it has
Mm-hmm.
this like it has this like papercraft
Yeah,
diorama
yeah, yeah, yeah.
kind of like composition feel to it in a way that I find very appealing. Like I think this image is very fun to look at, and I think this sort of weird accidental papercraft feel to it is very fun and cute. I'm not sure if that's what they were going for, but like I find it quite charming. It's just so neatly layered, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. I'm quite fond of it actually. I just
Limbus.
think that like Limbus. I like her little patch that says LB,
Uh-huh.
which is fucked up because we're LCB.
Yeah. She's LCCB.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
opposed to LCCA, which they should do an identity for, and they should also
Uh-huh.
feature in the next episode, in the next event. I believe that
Uh-huh.
LCCA will come back in the next event. I'm making this prediction right now.
And the leader of LCCA is
Mio.
Mio.
We've done it, guys. There's a little bit of lens flare in this image from the very bright gunshot, which I do appreciate.
It's like I don't quite know what to make of this, like, there's a lens flare in from her gun, and then there's also a lens flare from like the light of their truck? Question mark? A sort of abstract background element.
Who knows?
These guys in the back, by the way, I'm looking at them now, are fucked. Like they're just
They
shapes.
are.
But
Don't worry about it.
Again,
They're
it's
just
a
shapes.
it's a papercraft diorama. It's like they're just like they're at the back of the diorama, and they're just shapes to give you a sense of depth. I really like her expression in this one. Also, it's like
She's
this
at
kind
work.
of like softly focused, like she's at work. She's also like a little bit. She's got sort of a maybe part of this is just her goat eyes. But she has sort of a dissociated kind of feel to her. Like
Her
this
goat
face
eyes are
doesn't.
so real.
This face doesn't feel quite like grit and determined enough to really be doing this. She's just kind of like workaday. She's just kind of dissociated.
Yeah,
Ishmael.
Ishmael. Are we doing 5 identities this episode? Or
Um.
6? To be decided?
Uh huh. I
Or,
don't
sorry,
think
or 4 is what I meant. Not or 6. We're not doing 6.
what?
5 or 4.
We're doing everything up to Liu.
Okay. Oh, wait, are we doing 6?
Oh, 1, 2.
That's 6. Oh, right, because there's... Yeah. Sorry. I'm silly. There's 11 of them. I thought there were 10. Don't worry about it.
Uh huh.
We're doing this one and then 2 more. Or wait, no. That's 5. I'm very intelligent. Don't worry about it. I now know what's going on.
All right. Is your point that we're taking a break now?
Yes.
Okay. Bye.
And then we took a break.
제가 예전에 있었던 곳은 아주 작은 실수 하나에도 모두의 목숨이 위태로워질 수 있는 공간이었어요. 제가 가끔 예민해지는 건 그 경험들에 의한 거예요. 아, 이해해달라는 건 아니에요.
I'm like gambling on what you're going to pick. And being like,
I'm not thinking about it. I mean, I am thinking about it, but I don't worry about it.
Okay, I think I have my picks.
Okay, yay.
Hi, welcome back.
Hi, welcome back. Our next contestant is lobotomy ego sloshing Ishmael. It's Sloshmael, worst unit in the game. Worst unit Sloshmael. God, the money that I would give for a fucking red sheet Roja like there is in this image.
God. Yeah.
She's got her smoking pipe.
Yeah. Oh
she's
my
so
god.
Cute.
I love
so
I
cute.
love her big robe hanging off of her.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Heathcliff in the background being
sad
and serious. Like, fuck off.
Even Sinclair is like cute in this image. She's got a little smirk.
It's the happiest you ever see Sinclair.
I know! He's literally never this happy, ever.
No, as established, Sinclair is always going,
Always. When will we have, like, a happy Sinclair image like this? I don't know if it'll ever happen.
Get out of your fucking shell, bro.
Yeah. Sloshmael is very good.
Right off the bat, intuitive response. Would you ask her to call you?
No.
Wow! Just because she's Goop?
Listen.
You hate her just because she's Goop?
Believe you me, I do not hate Goop. But just because she would ask me to have a glass of fairy wine with her, and I would have to refuse.
I see.
I wouldn't ask her to call me because I don't drink.
Uh-huh. Wow.
I love how her hair turns green from the sludge.
Oh my god, I never noticed.
You never noticed?
I never noticed. Oh, that's so
it's very
funny.
obvious in her sprites.
Okay.
It's like she's fully just got green hair. She also looks just as unhappy in her sprites, which makes me very pleased.
Uh-huh.
She's like, man, fuck this. They sloshed me.
They give me the
like
slosh.
This armor is really funny as well, just because it's like only tiny little pieces of metal in comparison to most of the Goop suit.
Yeah.
And like, fucking Fairy Gentleman is an aberration of Fairy Festival, so I assume that this is a Zayn ego, which is very, very funny.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I could probably actually check what Fairy Gentleman is classified as. Teth. Okay. Same difference.
I love how, like, at the top of this outfit, it starts out kind of having shades of being a suit, you know, like a lobotomy corporation ego suit. And then it just completely falls apart. It just completely turns to Goop.
I want to shout out my friend Lemmy, who has been working on a mod that reskins all of the ego suits to make them more like immersive, like they are in Limbus Company. Working with a bunch of artists to do this. It's very, very cool. Because I love how this image just emphasizes how bad it would be to wear some of these ego suits. Like, just deeply unpleasant. I'm covered in goop. It's like the suit is tracking goop everywhere. It's in her hands. It's on her. It's dripping.
I was gonna say, one of my favorite things is that, like, it's dripping from between her fingers, but she doesn't, like, have a pile of it in her palms, which gives the impression that, like, it's just kind of generating from there.
Infinite
like,
goop glitch.
It's just like infinite goop glitching, which is really good. I really love the contrast here between both in a bunch of things, including like drawing style. The like lines of the goop and the like line thickness and the lighting is different from her funny little suit collared shirt and the metal of the suit, which gives this really fun and interesting concept of these particular style. Like this metal chestplate is from like one of the 3 or 4 different styles of ego suit in Lobotomy Corporation. But it gives this funny impression that like, oh, the metal plates are not part of the suit. They're kind of like containing it and shaping it in a fun way, you know? Like there's a fun contrast between the parts of these suit that are man-made and the parts of this suit that are like, well, goop.
I just scrolled down. There's an alternate version of this art where Heathcliff is in a red sheet ego suit and he's perfectly fine, and that makes it even funnier that he looks like that in the normal art. Like, they made him sad.
He might just be, the color of his shirt is the... Oh no, he's in a... Yeah, they just made him sad.
Yeah.
Sad Heathcliff.
And also, they like clearly drew over this because you can see some of the top of his head is the same.
Right, yeah. And
it's
also
like a very
image,
hasty edit.
The image gets kind of blurry around him.
Uh-huh. They had to edit in sad Heathcliff. The potential man. Anyway, fucking brilliant. Her upside 3 is less interesting, IMO, but...
Oh, yeah, one more thing about the upside one is I love her expression. I think this expression is so perfectly done. The way one of her eyes is squinting more than the other, this little, like, lip bite, this just, like, she looks so perfect. It's just sort of
iconic, Ishmael.
It's a really good-looking image. Anyway.
This, like, the straight man disgust is correct.
Her upside 2, you were saying. Upside 3.
Her upside 3, she doesn't have an interesting expression in this one, which is sad. I do like how much, like, it becomes evident that the goop then flows from the suit to the weapon in order to create the goop weapon, because she has much less goop in this image.
Yeah, you can't see her weapon is one of the Lobocorp batons, like the default batons,
but covered in goop.
You can't see the weapon in this, and bold new take, don't mind it in this one. Because, like, I don't care about this fucking baton. I just care about goop. I care about, like, the visceral physical experience of being hit by goop. And I will say that this image doesn't capture that as well as I hoped. Like, I wish this guy was getting a little bit more, like, Nickelodeon slimed, you know? Instead, he's just being hit by sort of like a whoosha blast of power that we're sort of aware is made of goop. I wish it was a little goopier. That would be nice. It's goopier on her. Like, you can see, again, this, like, you're right, this, like, flow of goop, the river of goop going. I looked at this and I was like,
the river of goop.
She's less fat in this one, but that's because you can visibly see the goop flowing, like, from where it's contained, around her midriff, like, up and to this, whoosha goop blast.
Whoosha goop blast. I like the gaps in the goop that reveal that this is just a normal lobotomy corporation, like, standard suit with armor on it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because, like, there's so much goop going into the whoosha goop blast that, like, you can genuinely just see the shape of the suit around her collared shirt and stuff. Oh, that's brilliant, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But again, I wish this guy was getting more gooped. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not covered in goop. He's just being impacted by goop and then smudge tooled some of the goop onto him.
Yeah, he's being smudge tooled with green, and I'm like, it's okay. The sensation of Ishmael, of having the goop like flow along you and out into a kamehameha is like great.
Yeah,
it's enough to carry it for me.
I didn't think about this image like that until right now, and I really like it now.
It gives
Kamehameha.
It gives the goop a sort of like sentience, like it moves around you. And, like, maybe it's not infinite goop glitch, Maybe the goop is, like, constantly moving.
Maybe the goop recombines with the goop suit as you walk, and it drips.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh,
that's fucked.
It's heavy. It's churning. Her skill 2 is named It's Churning.
It's churning. It's heavy. It's churning. Oh my god. It's such a comical, like, identity. And I really appreciate it. Even though, I mean, I can't let it go unsaid that there's, like, obviously an element to this identity that's, like, it's funny because they put her in a fat suit.
Yeah.
Which is unpleasant. However, it's funny that they put her in a fat suit made of goop.
Yeah.
It's made of goop. It's churning. I don't like that it's churning.
Man, this alternate art with Happy Heathcliff is like so
it's
much
fucking
better.
Me up. It's so much better.
It's so much better
to draw
as an image.
over him to make him canonically sad.
Oh.
Anyway, it's time for a really, really good image that we all love.
Oh boy.
It's Liu
so
Association South
say.
Section 4 Ishmael.
Hello,
she
girl.
eats a dumpling!
She eats a dumpling!
Let's go!
Oh, she eats a dumpling. This image is perfect. This was like one of my first 3-star IDs, and I was like, this is the perfect woman. The perfect dough. The perfect dumpling dough. This food looks so good.
Oh my god, I want hot and sour soup so bad now.
Yeah. It's not like drawn super like clearly and crisply, but it like gets across what like good illustrated food does, which is like the texture. It's very round and soft and like nice. This like just very subtle layer of steam. These dumplings are so nice and round and squishy.
I'm going up to Liu Ishmael. I'm asking her for the number of this restaurant, so I can order from there. I'm also asking her for her number because it's like, she's cute because she's Ishmael. She's also in proximity to this very good food and eating it cutely.
Right. And by asking her for her number, you mean giving her your number and saying, call me Ishmael.
Call me Ishmael, yes.
Thank you. It's important to me. She also, like, oh my god, I feel like she's rendered so perfectly in this one. We haven't done much like sort of art deep diviness in this episode. There hasn't been that much to talk about, but like I feel like the like this whole image just has like a perfect softness to it. This like soft filter on the background is really nice. In that it's just like, it's really, they're really subtle in this image with their like, you know, their like CG smoke and their blur filter in the background. It's just a little bit, just enough to give it this nice softness without losing
they don't
any
go
detail.
overboard.
I love the way her shirt is painted. It's in a very kind of like naturalistic sort of paintbrush where it like emulates, you know, bristles and stuff. And that like gives her this nice like painted softness. Look at the soft edging on her hair that makes it sort of like, you know, oh, look at her little nose. She has a nose in this one, which is fucked up. But like, she's just like, and her like, she's so focused on this dumpling.
She's got
so
a little
nice.
bead of sweat, and she's blowing on it to make it less hot.
She's so excited to eat this dumpling. Oh my god. And like,
I mean, I want to be her. I want to be eating my spicy soup and sweating and eating my hot steamed dumplings that have come right out of the steamer.
Call me Ishmael. Let's get dumplings.
Call me Ishmael.
And like the colors in this image are really, really nice. Just this like warm yellow and orange and this bright red on like the spoon and this tie and the chopsticks. It's like, and then this leek. It's not a leek, it's a bok choy. What am I talking about?
Yeah, this bok choy.
This bok choy is just like such a cheeky little, just like pop of green.
Yeah.
It's so nice. I could look at
and
this
it's
image.
just floating there limply like it would in your soup.
I know. Oh my god. I could eat this image.
I know.
I could eat this guy on the right. Eat him. It's like I could look at this image forever. I could look at this image
So
for
good.
700 days.
People eating nice food is like an extreme shortcut to good image. All the Liu guys having like a nice time eating their food is such a like, you got me, guys, you did it. Both because I want to see pictures of nice food, and because I want to see all my favorite guys enjoying a very nice, filling meal.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're eating your soup and dumplings. I hope you enjoy them.
It's just like, such a beautiful image. I would put this on my wall and no one would know what was happening, and it would be great.
To talk about something that isn't the soup extremely briefly, I do like that you can see that this is her professional Liu jacket that she has, like, over the chair, because you can see a little bit of the gold on it. On the lapel. You can
also tell that at least the guy on her right, on the left of the image,
thank you.
is you know, one of her companions. This guy on the left might be too. I mean, like, this is a Liu. This oh my god, what would you call this? Not magenta. There's a specific word, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't know what I would call this.
This dark purpley red. Help.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. I got nothing.
And so she's like, you know, she's at sort of, it gives, you know, she's at like a Liu regular joint. I mean, this is an extremely Chinese establishment. With the ornamented like little balcony window bits. Yeah. You can also see that she's wearing this shirt in her next image. Great image. Oh.
I am looking at the identity story real quick, just because I wanted to
in the identity story
see what they said about her.
Doesn't she get interrupted food. And she's mad?
Yes, she gets a call. She eats alone, not at the Liu meals, and she got a call, and it interrupted her meal. And then the kind beef noodle restaurant owner packs up her food so she can have it when she gets back. But she's like, now the noodles will be soggy, and the dumplings. I ordered a double portion, but you want me to only live on dumplings? And I'm like, no, Ishmael.
I also, yeah. I do also like this image in the context of now an ongoing, like, side background plot in Limbus Company is the Liu Ishmael Liu Roja ship. In which, like, this pairs really well with the Liu Roja thing. Where, like, in the Liu Roja image, she's so, like, she looks so judgy. But then you get to this image and you're like, oh, maybe she was just hungry. Maybe that's why she's looking at her like that. Because she's just hungry.
She just doesn't want the noodles to be soggy.
Uh-huh. And then...
she ordered a double portion.
For no reason, they made Liu so section Yi Song. But they did make him for a reason. It's because they could do Ishmael Roja shipping in the background of it.
Right, yeah.
In which she's trying to grab Roja's food because she's so hungry.
They're so cute.
They're so
We should talk about
cute.
the Uptie 3 so you don't get stuck here forever.
I will say, like, it's so easy to be enraptured by the Uptie 1. But I will say that the Uptie 3 is maybe, like, one of the hottest images of a woman I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just talking about the fire. Something about, like... something about
Bad
the posing.
joke, but I appreciate it.
Well, I had to... What am I not gonna say it?
Yeah, it's fair.
But something about, like, the posing and, like, her facial expression and the way this, like, suit... like, conforms very nicely to the curves of her body. This image is very appealing to me. I feel like this is a really good image of violence, too. As we saw
this guy with blood spitting out of his mouth is great.
Yeah, as we saw in Goop Ishmael, sometimes, like, the violence in these images is, like, but this one is really great. This impact is so clear and nice.
She hit him with her elbow.
She hit him. The way that, like, impact, like, flows. Her hair is flowing here. Her hair, like, this is an Uptie 3 where her hair still looks nice and fluffy and flowing. And, like, ooh, it's so nice. I really like this image. I also really like this image. By the way, it was while looking at this image that I came up with Call Me Ishmael. Because that's how I feel about her. That's how I feel about Liu
Call
Ishmael.
me Ishmael.
Call me Ishmael. But, like, none of the other Ishmaels we've talked about today have really caught our eye in this way, which is fair. That's not entirely true, but I also think that, like, the composition of these two images as a diptych is so nice. Because her posing mirrors either way.
Oh yeah, she's got the arm lifted.
She's got the arm lifted. She's got the hand out in front. It's just that, like, in the first image, she's, you know, her elbow out is lifting the dumpling, and her arm in front is lifting the soup. And now it's like a cool kung fu pose, but she's still doing fundamentally the same posing, in a way that I think is really nice. That's so smart. You can really get this, like, sense of, like, this, if you look at these next to each other, of this elbow snapping around. It's so nice. I think this image is great. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk for like 10 minutes.
Thing I love about this image is that this guy that she's hitting, one of his arms is up and out of frame, and the other one of his arms is, like, under her jacket.
Oh yeah, she's grabbing
which is
her
fantastic.
Jacket.
Because usually these people who are, like, just there to get owned in Uptie 3 images have basically no interaction with the rest of the image at all.
Right.
But these two are, like, in a close combat fight. Like, he's trying to grab her. He's trying to, like, hit her.
Yeah, he has agency.
But he does not succeed because he gets elbowed with her flame powers. But, like, the fact that he can interact with the image at all is like, you did it! You win.
Yeah, it's so good. I love how the gold detail... First of all, I just love how the Liu uniforms look always.
Yeah,
whether they're in their fucking sweaters or their whatever. Or their Letterman jackets. Or they're just in their
nerds.
suits. But, like... I love how you can see that the gold detailing on her vest is gold. Like, look at this top right... I don't know what to call these. There's a shape name for this kind of, like, bent triangle thing. What is it called? I don't know. Boomerang. Look at this top right boomerang shape, like the very top right one, and look at how it reflects the light differently from the fabric around it. Meaning that it's like a gold overlay, which is sick. It's really well done. It's quite subtle, but it's really well done. This, like, she just looks so nice. Both of these images are so nice. Look at them.
Call me Ishmael.
Call me Ishmael. Please.
Please. I love her, like, sprites, too, for this. I'm gonna make you look at them, because I love them so much. I love that she has a hand in her pocket in her idol, like, she's just chilling.
Yeah.
I love her guard sprite, where she's, like, half of her face is obscured in her pose. It's, like... I love her evade sprite, where she's got one hand, like, out of a fist. She's just so expressive in this, and it's, like... Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I also run her a lot. She's, part of my little burn team, and I really like watching her move. She's one of the... She's no Hong Lu. She's not jumping all over the place. She's one of the more contained... Liu units, but she does, like, she sort of, like, strikes really solid poses and does really solid crunchy hits in a really, really satisfying way. That, like, I don't know, fits with this sort of, like, taking it seriously, but also just kind of, like, work a day. Like, she's not being fancy. She just wants to, like, do her fucking job and then go back to lunch.
And then go eat her soggy noodles.
And so she's just like, crunch, crunch, crunch. It's really nice.
At least the dumplings are still good. I just want her to have a nice meal. It's so sad that this image of her having a nice meal is, like, canonically her having a nice meal that's about to get interrupted by having to go to work. Just want her to be happy. It's very important to me. Hey, it's ego time, because if you didn't know, we're doing these episodes in 2 parts now.
We have to.
We have to because it would be too long. I know you want it, you freaks, but you can't have it. We would die. So we're gonna record the second part of this episode on a later date, with the rest of the identities and some more ego, but we're gonna do some ego now. To satisfy your sick tastes, and then end the episode. This is my new antagonistic towards the listener voice. And then we're gonna end the episode and do part B.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this feels so much better. Not that part of our problem is that we don't rush on Limbus Company stuff.
I have to talk about this at length, which is reason. Like, I have to be able to go.
But I feel myself pulling us back to talk about things more instead of pushing us forward past things, because we're gonna go into a 4-hour recording, and it's nice. This is nice. So this is part A. Part B will be up next week. Thumbs up. Don't worry. Coming soon.
Don't worry.
Month of Ishmael, baby. It's Ishmael
Month of
March.
Ishmael. So we're gonna do we have the 2 that we're gonna do next episode.
Ishmarchel.
It's Ishmarchel.
Yeah.
We have the 2 that we're gonna do next episode.
But
we're gonna do 2 from our favorites this episode.
Yeah, that are not those 2.
I have my first choice, second choice.
I have my first choice, second choice.
You're so conflicted.
I've been so conflicted forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see. Anyway.
My first choice is Bygone Days.
Fuck, my first choice is Bygone Days.
My second choice is Ardor Blossom Star.
My second choice was Ardor Blossom Star.
Let's go!
This is
I wasn't sure which one of these would be my first and second. I like them both equally, frankly. I also wanted to talk about Christmas Nightmare, but it's just, like, not good enough of an image to justify comparison to these two. But brief shout out to Christmas Nightmare Ishmael.
Christmas Nightmare Ishmael is very cute.
She's adorable, and she's a reference to this whole, like, internal joke about Ishmael being a big octopus. And I love that. But let's talk about Bygone Days. God, this image goes so fucking hard. God, it's so good. I love that you get, like, a good view of this abnormality who has been completely incomprehensible to me until this image released. It's a guy without a head, and the head is, like, dragging along the floor.
Yeah. It's kind of
like...
I think he floats?
He floats, yeah.
Yeah. It's also, like, I don't know. I've really...
I don't know.
Let me. Oh, I've never looked at this without Ishmael on it. That would help.
Oh yeah, me neither.
I think
it might have little scuddly legs. I don't know.
Isn't this a guy that you can fight now? Can't you fight this guy now?
What's the Portrait of a Certain Day?
Yeah.
As a potential boss can be fought. Yeah, new boss. It has the big arms. That's what it is.
Yeah. He does look way different in this image than he usually looks.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, this looks more like a guy in a suit than he usually looks like, which is sort of fun. Normally he looks a little bit more tree-ish. But in this one, he's like a guy with, like, his hands held very sort of smartly in front of him. There's the portrait. Okay, I'm finally referencing it with the other thing. I'm like, okay, I'm comprehending the guy.
Oh, interesting trivia on the Portrait of a Certain Day page. The ego art for this abnormality features aspects from the sinners that use its ego. These features are also present in the sinner's ego corrosion. Yi Song's Bygone Days features pieces of broken glass, while the portrait the abnormality is holding is replaced by a broken mirror. Gregor's Bygone Days features insectile appendages, while the portrait the abnormality is holding has insectile appendages emerging from it. Ishmael's Bygone Days corrosion features ropes tied around its appendages. Instead of holding a portrait, the corrosion instead wears a gold pendant around its neck. Unlike the other Bygone Days ego, these unique features are not reflected in the ego art.
Yeah, this is a thing they've started doing recently. Is like, I mean, you can see it in Christmas Nightmare. Ishmael's Christmas Nightmare and Gregor's Christmas Nightmare are like very different. Yeah. This is
which
a thing
I love.
They've started doing recently, I love them. Which is fun and has some interesting sort of like bullshit lore implications. But mostly is just fun. Anyway, that's the guy. The guy. Ishmael looks so fucking smart in this one.
Oh my god, she's so hot in this. She's got this is what they robbed us of, by the way, in not putting her in a long coat. Is they didn't give her a long coat, and now she's wearing a long coat, and it is hot as hell. She's got the pinstripe pants, which are hot as hell. She's got the tie that's slightly too long and tucked into her waistband, which is adorable. She's got the black ribbons instead of her normal white ribbons, which is sick as fuck. She's got, like, this little kind of... I don't know if there's a blood stain on her cheek or, like... I don't know, but it is sick as fuck. She's got, like, all of the black ribbons... The black ribbon that's coming out of her pocket, where she has one hand in her pocket, sick as fuck. The fact that she's checking her little pocket watch, or I suppose it's probably a compass...
No. It might be a compass, actually. What it is, and this is a fun thing that they don't always do in, like, just the Limbus company ego arts, but it's the ego gift. It's the, the little picture of a guy. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
The one that gives you poise, you know.
Where's the fucking,
Why is this not on the Bygone Days?
It's not on the
ego
page,
ego gift.
but
which ego gift is it? You know the one.
Wah.
It gives you poise.
It gives you poise.
It gives you poise.
But like sick as fuck. She's just like she's got drip.
Yeah, she just like looks. Hang on, I'm looking for it. Pendant of Nostalgia. Okay, there it is. Never mind. We can move
Pendant
on.
of Nostalgia. Okay.
Yeah, the one that gives you poise. But yeah, it's just like there's something about like I love how long they make her in this. I love the idea
her
that
long
the ego
legs.
is sort of stretched her out to match the thing, and it's just like she's just such an amazing amount of personality. Again, like this tie and the shirt and how they're tucked into the pants just like give her a certain amount of intentionality and agency and personality that like you don't always see in this. She looks and there's sort of something fun and Ishmael-y about this also, right? Is that like, this is like the this is Bygone Days. This is like, and so the fact that she looks so comfortable and so like fit into this ego suit that is about, staring at your pendant of nostalgia and also, is Ishmael and wrote Moby Dick, is like so good. She looks comfortable and immersed in a way that like that people don't always in these, in a way that like really is Ishmael-y. I love it so much.
I don't know what the juice is that they put into the Ishmael ego art, but it is so good.
There's
like
so
every time.
much juice.
They really,
so
I don't know if there's a
juice.
single miss in the Ishmael ego art. Like, even
No.
Roseate Desire super early is, like, awesome and goes hard. Like, it's just all fucking incredible. But this is so, like, sorry, it's the woman in suits game if you want to be, like, if you want to be reductive. She's women in suit.
She's woman in suit to such an extreme degree. Call me Ishmael.
I think pinstriping is hot, and I won't apologize.
I think that you're right.
If I owned a pinstripe suit, I would wear it all the time.
Every day.
Every day. It'd become my new thing. People would be like, you're a freak. I almost wish that this image had less, like, shit on it. I think the broken glass effect is cool.
I understand
think that it's like effective, but I think it's a little tiny bit much. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that like they're in the pendant of nostalgia in a sort of fun little sort of way. I couldn't think of a better word. But like, yeah, it does like. It doesn't get in the way that much. They work. It works relatively well. It doesn't cover up anything important. But it is like a touch. I do just kind of want to look at her. I really
it's not in places where you feel like you can't look at her because there's too much broken glass on her. It doesn't cover up her face. It doesn't it only covers up like this slice of her torso and like the bottom of her legs and feet. So it's fine. But it does obscure the image.
Yeah. I really wish that like this must exist, but we just have no way to get it. But I do wish that there was a way to just like the image of her and the image of the guy are separate. Obviously, because
so we could just get the image of her.
Yeah,
out of there.
I really wish we could just pull the image of just the sinner out of the ego art. That would be nice to have. It would be nice to look at them, but it's not in the game files, so we would have to do it manually.
Yeah. Anyway, she's so hot.
Yeah.
You know who else is so hot? It's Ardor Blossom Star Ishmael.
I was
a piece
gonna say,
of art that's been in the game since the beginning.
Really quick, I I really like her corrosion. Her default her just sort of default idle sprite is fine, but the corrosion on Bygone Days Ishmael is really nice, just in like all the details it preserves. Specifically, like the way it preserves her tucked in tie is really nice. That's just very cute.
It's yeah.
Anyway, that's all. We can talk about Art Blossom
Cute,
Star.
very cute. Art Blossom Star, a literally hot image. Thank you, my basic joke. Hey, she's so cute. What the hell? This image has been in the game since the beginning and has not stopped being the best ever. It's so good. Art Blossom Moth is a good abnormality. This is a good piece of ego art. Her, like, oh my god, she's adorable. She's got this, like, she's got her big jacket and then this cute little, like, dress or skirt and then these tights and then the big boots. Like, shut up. That's so cute. What the fuck?
Yeah,
I think it is a full dress and not just a skirt, but it's so cute.
Yeah, this puffy jacket goes so hard. It's really, really good. I love the ruffles on this skirt. I love the striping on this skirt. It's like I think Ardor Blossom Star Ishmael and Bygone Days Ishmael should be a femme butch couple.
I know! We never get to see Ishmael in a dress, like, ever. Because we don't get to see anybody in a dress in Limbus Company, like, ever. But I'm very, very glad that they put her in a dress for this image, because it's, like, she's got such a cute, like, street style look, where she's got, like, the jacket that's as big as her garment, and then the big chunky boots that are like, you know, I know how those would feel to put on. They're mostly fabric. They're like, you know, thick and warm.
And it's like this like super like really nicely thought out outfit, very sort of tactile outfit, over top of this sort of like abstract, like very kind of Art Deco composition-y, just burning city is really nice contrast.
This is classic beginning of the game ego art shit, where they just have everything like extending out from this central point. All of these skulls reaching towards her are genuinely great. But this, like, you know, the cityscape which all exists in the ball that is the ego image is like really, really shockingly nice.
Yeah, I feel like, this is like such a weird, stupid little cut, but like, I feel like this gets across the like emotion that I feel like should be there in Fourth Match Flame. In that Fourth Match Flame is about, you know, oh my god, what's her name?
Scorched Girl?
Scorched Girl. Yeah, this is so much better of a Scorched Girl than the Fourth Match Flame. In the Fourth Match Flame arts, they're just kind of like hot guys. But in this one really gives that sort of like, you know, lonely girl in a big city, who's like dreaming of burning it all down or watching it all go up in fireworks or something. It's got such a striking. This is like absolutely like motherfuckers who don't know what Limbus Company is would put this on their wall. You can find this at Walmart, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that it like conveys a very clear kind of story and emotion.
And like that sense of like, you know, sort of restless, like, I don't know, why don't I kill everyone for fun kind of feeling is Ishmael, right? Like, it's Ishmael. This is an extremely important thing about Ishmael in Moby Dick that makes the Limbus Company adaptation not that bad, that I didn't mention earlier, is that they don't try to attribute the facts that Ishmael goes on a big whaling journey to some kind of personal quest or revelation or, like, thing in her past. It's just that she's bored. She's like, I work in an office job and I'm sad. And then I decided to burn my whole life down and throw it all away and go be on the sea because I'm kind of a bad person. And that's who she is. So she's just like hanging out in her street clothes, being the cutest little thing I've ever seen, like killing everyone because she just feels like it.
For fun.
That's like, I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
I love the mothy parts of this. These wings look fucking fantastic. I love how these wings cut the difference between the like very thick brushstroke abstract background and the very detailed her. They're somewhere in the middle. They sort of bleed the space between them in a really, really nice way. And then also like these little swoopy bits coming down in this little helix.
Yeah, her little spiral.
They give off both a girlish impression of being like little ribbons, but they're also the swallowtails of the moth.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, she's so cute.
Yeah, she's so cute.
My brain goes empty when I look at this image because she's just a cutie.
I also think
certified
that, like,
cutie.
All the corrosion arts in every way for this are fine, but you can really see her outfit in just like her default idol for this one, and it's so nice. It's this like, you can see how this dress is shaped, which like makes the dress make a little bit more sense in the main image. And just like how puffy this coat is, and I love her like leaning back pose in this. She's like, whatever, I don't care, I'll light you on fire. Ooh woo.
I always appreciate when I can like look down at the sprites and they help me understand the main image. I always do this when we're doing these episodes. I'm like, wait, is that? And then I go look at the sprite because I think it'll be a little clearer. And sometimes it isn't, but often it is, and I appreciate when it is, especially on the ego arts when they don't really need to be that much clearer in the sprite because they only appear for a second.
I feel like I've never in my life looked at what Ardor Blossom Star actually does, and that's not because I don't use it. It just lights shit
on fire.
But it's just
it's
because
just good.
The only purpose of Ardor Blossom Star is to win clashes.
The only purpose of Ardor Blossom Star is to beat Ricardo, but I didn't have Ardor Blossom Star when you were doing that fight. God bless. I was like, how do you solve this fight? Like, how do people do the Ishmael solo? And the answer is, you need to have Ardor Blossom Star. And I was like, fuck. Well. This is a rare instance where the corrosion art is significantly different from the Awakening. It has the sprite of Ardor Blossom Moth in it. Instead of just removing Ishmael from the image, it replaces her with Ardor Blossom Moth.
Yeah, and it also, like, doesn't replace her organically. It's not like Ishmael disappears and then Ardor Blossom Moth is, like, in her
appears
place
behind her
with its wings in the same position. It's like, it's just a different guy.
Just kind of fun. I think this is more an artifact of this being early art than, like, indicative of anything, but it is fun. And I do love that, like, this is just literally the sprite of Ardor Blossom Moth. It's the exact same image that appears in the encounter event, first of all.
That's
and
so
I believe it is, it's almost the exact same as the enemy sprite. The enemy sprite is just cleaner.
But
it's the same pose. But it is literally cut out of the it's cut out of the Admiralty encounter, and it's just pasted in here. Which cutie.
Yeah, I do like Ardor Blossom Moth. I like how it's got this sort of like glass insect look where you can see its guts inside its butt.
Yay!
Shout out to guts.
Shout out to guts. Shout out to cute girls and guts. And guts from Berserk.
Sure. And guts from Kill la Kill.
Sure. And Guts Man from Mega Man. Wait, no, his name is just Guts.
Oh, his name is Guts Man. Isn't that a man? Is he not a man?
No, his name is just Guts.
Mega
no, wait,
Man.
he's Guts Man.
Guts Man, yeah.
He's Guts Man.
He's
my bad.
Rocks. Yeah, you're bad.
Sorry, I forgot that he was originally a robot master and thought he was just a nice guy.
Anyway, I guess that's the episode?
Yeah, that's the episode. And then we'll be back with more Ishmael later.
Yeah, that was...
We don't have really a closing for this one because we can't do numbers.
We can't do numbers. But
we're not like rolling a new guy.
I figured that, you know, with the beginning of this one, we do all our Ishmael talking. At the end of next one, we do our numbers. So it all sort of balances
and then
out.
it balances out.
But yeah, just because this is, well, I mean, this might be the first time you're listening to the podcast. But like, yes.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. Happy to have you here. Last week we did our bonus episode, which was kind of insane, where we talked about pictures of whales. And then next week we'll be doing all of the rest of the Ishmaels along with some ego art. And thank you for joining us. So stick around for that. And yeah, tell your friends.
If you love
it's
Ishmael, and you should tell your friends, and you should tell me that you love Ishmael.
Yeah. Go to soul-mates-podcast on tumblr.com and tell Ash how much you love Ishmael.
Yeah. And then we can frolic around in the fields.
Yeah. Call Ash.
All right, well.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
이런 걸로 호들갑 떨지 않는 편이에요.